Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an updated highlighting and contouring video using powder product. I have tried to film this video 2 different times and there's been issues both times, so I'm going to try it again and God willing we will get this party started. I've done a highlighting and contouring video in a really long time. I think it's been like well over a year and I've definitely learned a lot along the way, and I wanted to share with you guys the new tips, tricks, products, and brushes that I have been using, because in every single video that I do, for the most part, I do highlight and contour using powder products. I will do a cream highlighting and contouring video for you guys because you definitely asked me for it, but not today. So I want to go ahead and just jump right into this. This video does not need to be 30 minutes long. At this point, I have done my brows and I have done my foundation and I have done the eyeshadow on my top lid. I never do my lower lash line before I do my concealer because I don't feel like there's any point in me spending all this time blending it out and smoking it out and then just covering it up with concealer and powder and having to work around it. It's just a mess. So if you're gonna smoke out your bottom lash line, do that after you highlight underneath your eye. So for my foundation, I use the Sephora brand Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. I actually just posted a Snapchat about this because I'm absolutely obsessed. I've owned this since October and I've never used it until today, and I don't know what the app took me so long because it's amazing, and I just applied that with a beauty blender. That's why it is dirty. I pretty much use beauty blenders to apply every single foundation. I really don't mess with brushes anymore. This is just the way I like to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off by doing my under eye concealer, and today I am going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard, and that is literally only because I am completely out of my Pro Longwear. Also, I'm sorry for the general state of my appearance. I am getting ready to run out the door and I just could not be bothered to get super fanciful for this tutorial. So I am just going to take the Radiant Creamy Concealer and I'm going to put this underneath my eye. And I'm actually going to take it pretty closely to here on the side of my nose because I will be contouring my nose later and I want to go ahead and cancel out this shadow to make it look more narrow. That way I don't have to go in too hard with the contour later on. This stuff is so pigmented, it's crazy. When it comes to where I'm going to place the highlighter, I'm going to stop right here where my brow ends. So because I'm going to contour in this area later, I'm not going to add a highlighter because that kind of defeats the purpose. I want to bring all of this outer parameters of my face in to make it look slimmer and more narrow. So the highlighter is going to stop right here near my temple, and I'm just going to blend that out with a beauty blender. I'm also going to take this concealer, I'm going to put it on my Cupid's bow, my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and then I'm going to bring it up to the forehead in the center. This stuff is so pigmented. Like, I hardly ever use it. I kind of forgot how high pigment, high coverage it is. It's a little crazy. There we go. Once again, I'm going to blend that out with my beauty blender. I want to highlight the center of your face as well as underneath your eyes because all you have is brightness and then you just have the rest of your face like one kind of deeper color. It's not very flattering. You need it to be kind of uniform and like molded together and seamless and blended, and you get the idea. So now that we've done that, I'm just gonna go in and do my under eye powder, and for that I'm going to use the new LORAC Pro Contour Palette. I will give you guys a little more information about it towards the end of the video. For my under eye powder today, I am going to mix the beige highlight and the yellow highlight together. Predominantly going in with the beige highlight, which I really love this color because typically in a contour kit, any color that isn't the yellow color in the highlighting part of the kit, I feel like it's white. And I don't want to be white underneath my eyes, and I don't want to be yellow. I just want the skin underneath my eyes to look brighter. So that is what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to take my Sephora Pro Precision Blush Brush number 73. Obviously it is a blush brush, but I've been using it lately for powder. I like how flat it is. I just press it in and it's super easy. I'm just going to take this highlighting powder to set the areas of my face that we have already applied that highlight. And I'm looking in my viewfinder and I'm looking here in this mirror in front of me. Now that I've done all this, I'm going to lightly powder the remaining areas of my face that I did not highlight, but I do have foundation on. A lot of people might can skip this step, but I can't because I am a little bit more on the oily side, so I have to set any creams that touch my face or they will move and break up, especially in this Georgia humidity and heat. So I'm just using my favorite face powder, which is the MAC Studio Care Blend Press, and I am taking a Real Techniques, I think this is just like a regular powder brush, I don't know, I use it all the time, just to lightly set the other areas of my face. When you're doing this, when you're doing your highlighting and contouring with powder or cream, no matter what you do it with, remember that you are going to be adding a lot of products. A little bit more on the oily side, so I have to set any creams that touch my face or they will move and break up, especially in this Georgia humidity and heat. So I'm just using my favorite face powder, which is the MAC Studio Care Blend Press, and I am taking a Real Techniques, I think this is just like a regular powder brush, I don't know, I use it all the time, just to lightly set the other areas of my face. When you're doing this, when you're doing your highlighting and contouring with powder or cream, no matter what you do it with, you don't need to be heavy-handed with your foundation and your concealer and your powders, and like just do small light layers of each, because one thing built on top of the other will give you the coverage you want, but if you do too much, it's gonna look cakey and it's not gonna be cute. So lightly powdering these areas just so they do not move on me throughout the day, and that is all I'm doing. Literally putting it down, that is enough. I'm gonna turn the camera off and I'm going to do my lower lash line super quick, and I'll be right back, and then we'll get into the bronzing and the contouring portion of this video. I never feel like I look like a real person until after I do my lash line. Like, am I the only person that's like that? I think it's because I go so heavy on my, ooh, see that, ooh. I go so heavy on my lid that when I don't bounce it out with the bottom, it looks terrible. Okay, so now we're going to bronze, and today I'm going to use the Studio Care Blend Pressed Powder from MAC in the color Dark. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a lot of makeup artists, like really high caliber makeup artists, who have started doing like online webinars. So it's like very different than watching like a YouTube guru. Like, I think I give a good little bit of information here, but it's nothing like watching like Scott Barnes, who is one of the most famous, amazing makeup artists of life. He started doing it. I'm subscribed to his website. I've been watching it, and he's always talking about how he doesn't like to use super dark colors to bronze. He doesn't use bronzers. He just uses face powders. And I've always known about that trick, but lately I've been into it, and today we're going to use the Studio Care Blend Pressed in Dark. Like I said, I'm going to take that on my Sigma Small Contour F05, and I'm basically going to use this bronzer as my transition color for my contour. Similar to the way when you do your eyeshadow, you have like a transition color and then you go in with darker colors to create that depth and dimension on the lid. We're going to do that with our face, and I'm just going to work this all over the perimeters of my face to include this outer area of my forehead, my temple, a little bit into the underside of my cheekbone, but not too crazy, and then I'm going to do my jawline and underneath my chin. Okay, so now that that is done, I am going to go ahead and contour, and I'm going to use the LORAC Pro Palette like I have used for my under eye highlight, and I'm going to take this medium contour color to contour with. The first couple times I used it, I mixed the deep and the medium together, and that was way too dark. So I'm going to go with just the medium. It's a really nice mid-tone, not too warm, not too cool, perfect color, and it's really good for people around my skin tone. Ooh, look at my little baby hairs. You calm down. Okay, and I'm going to take this on my Royal & Langnickel Silk Pro Fan BC300 brush. It's been my contour brush du jour for a while now. And then tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to apply this underneath my cheekbones at the very like top corner of my ear. In the same area I applied that bronzer, so they will blend in together and look pretty seamless. I don't take that bronzer in too far because I don't want it to be like blush, highlighter, bronzer, contour. Like a lot of stuff in this immediate area of your face. So here we go. This is about as contoured as I'm willing to go on my cheeks these days. Like, I don't want it to be too harsh. So it's just, that's what I like about this brush in particular. I do love the brush that comes with the palette, but I'm just a creature of habit. So once I find something I'm into, I just really don't stray for a long, long time. So this is why I do like this brush. But if you decide to use the contour brush that comes with it, it obviously would work out just perfectly fine. It is a really nice brush. It's a really nice brush. It actually kind of reminds me of the NARS Ita brush in that they both kind of have this straight, very long brush design. I mean, but what I like about the LORAC one is the brushes are fairly dense and short, but they have like a rounded tip, so it curves really well when you contour with it. I do like it, but this is just my boo right now, so I'm gonna keep using it. And I'm just going to work it right here, once again, on this side of my face. So then I'm going to take the light contour shade here in this palette, which I'm absolutely obsessed with for a multitude of reasons, to include the fact that it's a perfect light color to contour on fair skin tone, which is something that the market is really missing. I feel like when people bust out these highlighting contour palettes, even the lightest color in that palette is still too dark for very fair skin. So I think LORAC really hit the nail on the forehead with this color. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and take that light color, and I'm going to use that to contour my nose, and I'm just going to use the Sigma E33 brush. And when I contour lately, and I will do a whole video if you guys are interested on how I contour my nose. Now that I've added this kind of light on the side of my nose, I'm only gonna contour like under here, just because I feel like it's kind of long right here, and then I'll contour like the very tip on the sides, because the bridge of my nose right here is thin. It just kind of goes and like blobs out at the end, so I just want to make it a little bit more straight and narrow. I don't contour down the entire side of the nose. I don't take the contour out here down the bridge. It's not cute. Keep it in the center and only contour the area that needs it, and it'll look pretty natural. So like, let's get real. I just think that if you're going through the trouble of highlighting and contouring, it's only gonna get so natural, you feel me, dog? And then I always go in with a more fluffier brush than the one I just used to blend it out and soften. And you do this for as long as you need to, because a harsh, unattractive nose contour is probably like the worst. I think it's the worst, basically, it's the worst. The last thing that I do in this process of highlighting and contouring is I take a little bit of translucent powder. You can use any translucent powder that you want, but I've been using the Laura Mercier translucent powder to do this. And then I go in with this brush. This is the Sigma E50 large fluff brush, and I just kind of pack a lot of it right on the underside of my contour. Some people take this all the way like in this entire area, so it kind of looks like almost like a beard, like mutton chops that are coming in. You can do that, but I find doing that lightens it up too much, because this does clean and lighten up the underside of your contour, which is, I guess, considered reverse contouring. But if you have like a medium tan, a really bright, a super dark, a really bright, and then it's not, it needs to look a little bit cohesive, so I only put it on the very underside of the contour. Very underside. Like so. Just like that. And then I let this sit for a good 5 minutes, I would say. Typically, I do this before I, contour my nose, and while I'm contouring, I let it sit, but I forgot today, so it is what it is. I don't do this all the time, but I do notice a huge difference in how it looks to highlight and contour when I do it this way versus when I don't. So after it has sat for a little while, I will go in with the brush that I applied my face powder with, the color that is most like my actual face, not a highlighted color, bronzer, or a contour, just one that is similar to my skin tone, and I will just kind of blend it out. And then it just cleans it up. It's not too harsh. It does what I need, gives me a little bit more of a lift. You could do this with any translucent powder that you want. Like I said, some people take it all the way in this area. I don't. I just put it underneath that contour. And then of course we're going to blush and highlight. And just to go ahead and make this video a little bit more snappy, I'm going to use my Tarte blush in the color Tipsy. I have been really into it lately. It has been one of my favorite brushes for about 4 years now. I love it. And I'm just going to apply that using a Sigma large angle contour F40 brush, all into the apples of the cheeks, blending into my bronzer. I seriously use the lightest pressure I can when I apply blush, because I want the color to be there, but I don't want it to get choppy, and I want it to be smooth. And if you think about it, at this point we've applied so many kinds of powders on top of each other that they can start to get a little bit difficult to blend out. So that's my suggestion. Use a really light pressure. Palette does come with a highlight. It's called the Shimmer highlight. It's just way too fair for me. I'll probably use it as an eyeshadow or something like that, but it is in there for the more fair skin girls. I think it would work out really well on you. But for me, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier highlight I1 that I have been super into again lately. And I'm just going to put this on the very highest points of my cheekbones. Blending it down. I'm going to add a little bit to around the temple and then above the brow. So when you turn your face, the highlight just kind of does this like C motion, beautiful glowy effect. It looks really pretty in photographs. And all the way around, like I said. I'll take a bit on the tip of the nose and down the bridge right here, Cupid's bow, and at the very tip of the chin. But I just like to go for it. You do what you want. And that is it, except for one more step, which I do recommend everyone do when you work with this much powder, because I mean, it's powders. It is a lot of powder and you don't want your skin to look powdery. Typically throughout the day, like if you do your makeup at 8 in the morning, by about 9:15, 9:30, your natural skin oils will come through and kind of mesh it and meld it and make it a lot softer and a lot less makeup looking, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But to go ahead and speed that process up, because I want it to look like skin right now, I will hit it with a setting spray of some sort. You can use Urban Decay All Nighter, you can use Scandinavia, you can use Fix Plus. I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix, this little travel size I have handy, because my full bottle, my full brand new bottle of Fix Plus is in my car and I don't feel like going to go get it. So then I just hit the face with this to make it look a little bit more like my skin. Smells good. Okay guys, so that is my finished updated highlighting and contouring routine video. And just to touch quickly back on this palette, this is once again the LORAC Pro Contour Palette. It will be available exclusively on Ulta.com beginning June 14th, and it will be there for 2 weeks. I really, really do enjoy this. If you don't have a contour kit, or if you are a contour kit collector, I think this will be a fabulous addition to your collection. It does come with the brush I mentioned before. It also has an instructional booklet inside of it to kind of teach you a thing or two, but I already lost it. Plus, just watch my video and we will rock this out and you will figure out how to use it and it'll be great. It is valued at over $145 and it retails for exactly 45 American pesos. I'm really, really, really into it. You will definitely see it come up in many more videos to come. Big, big fan right here. Yeah, so I would recommend checking it out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you have not, and check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, including my Snapchat and stuff about the products mentioned. And I love you guys more than you will ever know.